The state of Missouri is seizing control of the St. Louis Police Department. Is it about money? Is it about power? Or is it just about control? My name's Kevin. This is Badgecast. I'm a former police officer with 12 years of experience, and I'm here to break this and all things law enforcement down for you guys. Let's get on into it. Well, the state of Missouri wants to take over the police department in St. Louis. Not the first time this has happened. They had control over it back many years ago. And really, I'm here to tell you that is it going to be good for the state level to have control over this, or should the local government do it? Well, the problem with this is you have a very liberal St. Louis area and you have a very conservative state level in Missouri. The governor's Republican, almost the entire legislature is Republican, and maybe it's good. But there's a lot going on in Missouri and in other states that we're going to break down, where the police departments are being taken over by the state level to get things under control. The other problem with this is, and it's not the case in all of the situations, because some of these police departments go all the way down to 11 people. Well, obviously, the city of St. Louis is a major metropolitan area, and there's hundreds and thousands of cops that probably work there. And when you have big departments, just like when you have big cities, you have big problems. And I don't know that the state level taking over is going to necessarily solve all the problems, but let's look at what some of these news outlets have to say about it. So you saw it right there. Missouri legislature approves plan to take control of the police department. Well, they're not just going to run it from the governor's office, but a major part of it, 113 to 39, with a couple Democrats going over with the Republicans, but pretty much everybody voted against this, for this thing on the Republican side. Well, the governor says he's going to sign it as soon as the bill gets to his desk. It's got an emergency order. He's got 90 days to pick a board, and one of those people on the board includes the mayor. So the Democratic mayor of St. Louis is still going to be on the board. Both the current police chief and the mayor came to these hearings and tried to get this thing squashed and didn't want this bill to go through, but it did, and there's going to be a board. More articles on it. The interesting thing about this is also in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, is also has a state appointed board, and they have had it that way for a long time. The problem is it doesn't really change anything. And that's what someone did some research into this and found out that pretty much crimes continue to go up since things have gotten out of control in these places. But as you can see down here, elsewhere, New Jersey gutted its police department in Camden in 2013, created a new Camden County force. That one I think was only like 11 people or something. Or is that going to be Patterson? One or the other. Then down here, this is Patterson. The New Jersey State, third largest city, saw the department take over by the Attorney General's office. Well, then someone filed a lawsuit, got it stopped, and now the Attorney General is going to the state Supreme Court to get control. Well, like I said, in Kansas City, the police department, always since the 30s has been underneath a board, and only up until 2012, police departments in both Kansas City and St. Louis were governed by the state appointed police boards. St. Louis gained control of its police department after a 2012 statewide referendum. Kansas City, under Mayor Sly James at the time, opted not to join the ballot measure. So since 2012, St. Louis has had its own control over its police department. So, but based on some studies back over here, like we talked about, we've seen crime surging, homicide surging since 2014. So is that just because the city's gotten too big and it's gotten out of control? Kansas City struggles with Missouri over police funding. They've had problems and lawsuits going back and forth trying to get them to, have the control go back locally. And it just never has happened. It's been a state-run deal. Then a lawsuit, recently where Kansas City, some residents are trying to get the Kansas City council to be in control of that. And then, like we talked about back in Patterson, they had this deal where they shot somebody and it got some big press, and they disbanded the whole thing. So obviously there were some major other problems going on in Patterson there in New Jersey. But the reality of these police departments and them not being in control locally is you remove some of those local politics. Is there some actual democratic issues? Mainly it comes down to money. It comes down to budgeting and how much is going to get allocated. These police chiefs are usually at-will employees, and they are at the beck and call of city managers and city councils. Same thing in the counties. The budgets are still controlled by CAOs or the board of supervisors, but most sheriffs are elected. And so they aren't really beholden as much because they're more worried about the electorate and who's going to vote for them next time. Our sheriff here locally has been the sheriff for a very long time, and no one has challenged him up until this last election where he finally had a challenger and he handedly was reelected as the sheriff again for another 4 years or whatever it is. But you get these police departments and, the budgets are run by the cities. But maybe in this instance, it's going to give control to the state level, and they're going to be able to determine that they're going to get some more funding. Therein lies the problem with police departments, is it's not about staffing unless it has to do with money. If they don't have money to pay their cops, then the cops are going to go away to better working environments that pay them more. Everyone wants to make more money and work less, have a better working environment, make more money. And that's the same thing that's happening here. But these chiefs don't have control in these cities. So let's take it away from them. Let's take it to the state level. What do you guys think? Should the state be controlling local police departments? Or should we have local police departments run on their own? It'd be the same thing. So it's the federalism issue. Should the federal government be controlling what's going on at the state level? Or should we allow these states and counties and cities to run all their things as they should? Unless there's some corruption, unless there's some issues going on, maybe we should just leave it locally rather than have these states running them. But with a board, much like a business would be run, that has stakeholders, that has investors, and maybe that's the way to run it. Is you have 5 people that all have to get together and come to a consensus on how we're going to run things. But if you guys like this kind of content, you've been hanging around this video this long, give me a subscribe. How about a like? Share this video with your friends, and we'll keep doing them. All right. See you guys in the next one. Have a good one.